Well, that's what we're supposed to do. Did you know we're in the sales business? Anthony, what sold yours?
They just sat there with that blank stare. I just swept. I just swept. And then clenched it, just the quality of the product.
Awesome. Carrie, Eli, Steve Adams, what sold yours?
Which one?
That first one.
The first one?
Yeah, that one right
Oh,
there.
they just bought a new curry, but they saw what the rainbow did and they cleaned the air who had allergies and all that stuff. So
Good job. George G. Angel. Is that you? Did you sell? You screwed up and sold one? Yeah. All right, Angel. What sold it?
they just bought a new vaccine.
Oh, really? It didn't work.
They threw it out.
Cool. Good job, buddy. Melody, what's Jeremy C?
Culver.
That's Germ.
Yeah.
Melody, what sold yours?
One.
That
last
one. The first one since Thursday.
Oh, she lives in Point Blanc, Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's some redneck stuff out there.
Yes, and she lives on this huge farm. So her house is not too far from the
Barn.
FM whatever road, and it's a lot of dust. So they had just cleaned the house that morning. Professional cleaners. Oh, she paid them $350 to clean her house, and then here I come, right behind them, and my God, she had to have it. She had to have it. That's awesome.
Oh, what's sold yours? Elizabeth. Is this you? Okay, we got you. What sold it?
Their kids have severe allergies. They're just showing them why their kids have allergies and how they can get it out.
Cool. Joe Bradley, Taylor, Marcus, Jeremy. Is that you?
Yeah.
That wasn't
that's
in.
the
I saw the
That's
net.
end. Yeah.
Okay, what sold it?
So just her sister actually comes over and cleans the house, and she was sitting on the couch with us, and we turned the vacuum on, and she went, "That's disgusting." And it was a pretty much instant sale from seeing what the other
That'll
guy
work.
does.
Tom Ratliff, Justin Heisler, David. David? No. Sakita, Braden, Steve Adams.
Their house was nice, nasty, beautiful house, but dirty, and they couldn't see it, but the rainbow showed it to them. So they had to have rainbow.
Chris.
Right here. Her allergies and the fact that she knew what rainbows were from her childhood. She wanted to inherit the one that she had, that her aunt had, and that never got it, so. That
Wrote down and bought one. That's good.
Oh, and by the way, for everybody's benefit, no carpet in the house.
Nice. Oh, good job. Good job, Studley. David, Sandy, Justin. Is that you?
No.
No, that's
Who is it?
Judy's.
Okay. Gwen, Dale.
That's her.
That's me. She actually wanted it because it cleaned her blinds.
That's crap. I've never seen anybody like that.
CJ was here with me.
What happened?
Brenda said she would buy it if it cleaned her blinds.
Oh, yeah.
That was her reason.
That is hilarious. Okay, that's your first sale, right? All right, good job. Moses sold, Justin sold, Anna sold, Trudy sold, Brian sold, Trudy sold, Marcus sold. I don't know who that is. Oh. Laura Rogers.
Wow.
What are you doing, Sakina? You want a chair? There you go. Skinny spot for a skinny girl. Sakina, what sold yours this weekend?
She was just amazed that everything kept going and it kept getting better and better and better.
Cool. Laura, Jeremy C., Carrie, Moses, Kolinsky, Tom, Gwen, Darian, Devin. What sold your other one?
Pulling the test cloth on the furniture. We're gonna see how much it's
You got
coming
furniture
out.
that you could pull test claws on?
Yeah, cloth furniture.
Oh, that's nasty.
It was nasty.
How old was that furniture?
It was probably about 8 years old.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
they don't even make it anymore.
no.
Okay, what do you guys want help on?
She said you would help on the mini
A mini bag? Oh, okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Tips on going retired.
Old people?
Fixed income.
Transitions
Which one?
from one part to any other.
Mechanics? Like the mechanics of it?
No,
Or like the
transition
steps?
from one part of the demo to the next, back and forth.
Anybody else? Sid?
We want help on instant sets.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's already up there, buddy. It's on the top.
Okay, here we go. Where should we start?
Instant sets.
How to sell old people? Depends on how old they are. One of the things that I always used to do, because when I was in another business, we sold a lot of retired people. Somewhere I slided in there, are your kids gonna be upset if you spend their inheritance? And what it'll do is it'll eliminate a kid calling up and getting a cancellation on you. Because they're already gonna be mad at them. You know, because if you make that statement, they've got one kid that is living for them to die. And they know it. So they'll drop a few F-bombs and they'll, no, hell no, I'm not gonna do that. Bullshit, I'll spend my own damn inheritance. He ain't getting a nickel out of me. And it'll rile them up. And it's almost hilarious if you put that in and it'll do that. If you start getting a price as a price objection. And I feel it, your kids aren't gonna be upset if you spend their inheritance, are you? And you'll get one of them riled up. Cause it's gonna be a mom or a dad that's got one of the kids that's going after their inheritance, and they know it. Or they may say, well, they're not gonna be any inheritance. Well, we might as well spend it now then. You know, and just different things. But you've gotta build a value. You still gotta have a good demo.
Right, so
What
what
are you
are the,
looking for?
well, what I'm looking for is like, okay, so for them, what are the things that really get them? They're older, you know, they.
I always give them a lifetime warranty. But see, you gotta remember, some of the shit I get away with, you don't wanna try. Cause I would say that, you know that. I'd look at it and say, well, we're gonna extend your warranty, we're gonna give you a lifetime. And they'll look at you and it's like, you're probably right. But see, the thing about it is, which one of your kids would you give it to because they've got allergies? See, it sounds like an obnoxious statement, but it's a lead-in where I can take them down an avenue. And you've all heard me tell the story about, I got to Friday night and I hadn't sold anything except for one on Monday, and I'd done 8 or 9 demos. And I went into the demo and I walked into a room this big and they wanted me to clean the carpet. Well, the reason they end up buying is they bought because I've been doing demos all the way around that house all week. And they bought it for the kids. See, that's one of the reasons elderly people, you always want to show a shampoo. Because you know why? Elderly people have always had carpet, and they still have it even if there's none in the house. Does that make sense? See, young, you go into a house that's kids that are 25, 27, 28, that's in under 30s, they've never had carpet, especially around here. See, the closer you get to the Gulf, there's no carpet. We've been flooded so many times they don't put carpet back. Only place you'll find carpet's upstairs because it didn't get flooded. And that's why you'll find a lot of tile and stuff downstairs. But see, elderly people have always had carpet. They were brought up with carpet. And in their mind, they still have it. But I always, even if it's for a throw rug. But see, they may get it, and that's one of the reasons I'll always do it. I'll tie it in with the grandkids. See, you've got it, and one of the questions I always ask is how often do the grandkids come over? Oh, they're over here every week. Now, that's the same as if there's kids in that house. It hasn't changed. Make sense? But see, you go and leave that out, that may be the reason that a grandparent buys. They're more likely to buy for grandkids than they will their own kids. They may buy it because they can go to their daughter's house and they can go over there and clean up the carpet so those grandbabies don't have to live on that nasty carpet. That's why you've got to be careful of what you do. And that's why you've got to ask a lot of questions. Does your family live around here? Oh, I see you got a bunch of grandkids. Well, I'll tell you the funny story I ever went into, and this is when we used to do the cookware. When I went in and I looked at it going, I'm thinking there was 4 daughters. And you could tell there were 4 daughters because there were 4 big pictures up there, and there was kids all the way around them. I said, and you know, oh, I have cookware. I don't want cookware. I said, does your daughters have cookware? Do you love them? You didn't buy them cookware? No, I didn't buy them cookware. It was $4,000, $5,000. I said, you don't love them that much? They look like great kids. They're beautiful daughters. I said, well, how about if we go and I ended up earning each one of them a set of cookware for Christmas? So I ended up getting 16 appointments out of them and sold 12 of them. But see, if I hadn't went after that, I wouldn't have got my cookware for my leads. See, if I don't go after the grandkids, how often do your grandkids live around here? Oh, yeah, they're real close. They hear all the time, oh, man, they're here every weekend. Those grandkids might as well live in that house. And see, and that's what is going to be my point all the way through. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. I'm Scott.
Hi. I was looking for Doug.
He
So
just
there was
brought,
a confusion here.
is he next door?
No, he's not here.
Oh, he's not 2 doors down?
No, but he told me to come here.
Oh, okay. You need a chair?
No, it's all right.
Okay. But see, you've got to tie the kids in. That may be your goal. And that may be where it's at. And it's, you know, and that's where your mattress may be. You know, who sleeps, you know, where's the extra bedroom? Who sleeps in here? Oh, the grandkids sleep here every weekend. Well, how old's this mattress? Is it brand new? Oh, no, it's not brand new. It's been around forever. It's a hand-me-down. That was our old mattress. Oh, really? So you know where to go with that. You know, I don't know who it was the other day. They called out and they said the reason they're going to buy it is because the kids sleep on the oldest mattress, and that's the one they want to clean up. And that's why they want to go ahead and get it. So you never know when you've got those different things, and you just got to ask a few more questions. So do the grandkids live in the neighborhood? How often do they come over? Now you know where to go there. That's how you're going to sell elderly people. That's your best avenue because, you know, they get to the point, it's like, I'm done cleaning. I don't care. Well, are they done cleaning or are they tired of cleaning? Does that make sense? See, and that's some of the stuff you've got to get out. Well, I don't even clean anymore. Is it because you're tired of cleaning, or you haven't found anything that cleans? See, and that's where you've got to go. It's just like when you come back. What do you clean the kitchen with? A broom. Well, get it. How many of you taking the broom out, beating the hell out of it with the light? You've got to do that. Well, here's what your grandkids are doing. This is everything you get. You've got to show them what's coming out of that. You got to show them what's coming out of the Swifty. You got to turn the vacuum cleaner on. Do you vacuum when your grandkids are here? You need to stop doing that because you're killing them. You need to vacuum 3 days before they get here, and then as soon as they leave, but don't vacuum while they're here. So you end up changing and switching things because they may not care about themselves. I'm dying anyway. I don't care. I won't live another 5 years. But those grandbabies or those kids coming over, that's when they'll do it. Make sense? Does that help?
Is there any, how about the weight of the machine for older folks?
Well, that's one of the reasons, the unique thing about a rainbow is. Because see here, all of your weight is here. You know what the first part of the woman that falls apart? They lose their hands. The grip of their hands is gone. Why? They're secretaries. They've been taking care of kids. They've been slicing and dicing and making Majulian fries. And that's what they wear out the first. So the thing that you don't want to do, and that's one of the reasons, and it's like Doc said, he went out and picked up a rainbow that somebody, whatever, cancellation or whatever, and guess what? The customer thought the machine was heavy. No, you're not teaching. The things you got to do is the power nozzle goes here, and the hose is here, and the hose goes around their back. Now all of the weight is there, so you don't have it in your hands. You're not dragging it around. Okay, now I know you're old and you probably can't carry that. Guess what? Your job is to put it up. Just like your job is to use the rain jet. Just like it's your job to do the aquamate. Mr. Jones, it's your job to dump the basin. It's your job to take and put it up, and you want to do that. It's not the feeble little old lady. That's another way you've got to be careful when you're selling elderly people. And the thing about it is, all you got to do is, and when you get them up and they're using it, you need to make sure that first time they put it in their hand, the power nozzle goes here, the hose goes here, and the rainbow's there. Now you can walk and it'll follow you anywhere in the house. It's a puppy dog. It'll follow you there. It'll be there everywhere you go. It's not going to bang in the furniture because they put 5 wheels on it instead of 4. So the old one used to do this. It would hover and it would bang into everything. Even if you had it right behind you, it would still hover that 3 feet span it would have. And that's where the difference is. That's another thing you've got to do with old people. You've got to make sure. But you may have to make it where the husband is the one that's dumping the basin. Make sense? Huh? I don't want to be in that house.
100%, I was single, retired school administrator.
You-
She had
That's
COPD.
1 out of 85, good job.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about it is, what made it a good lead? She was a germaphobe, she had breathing problems,
Yeah.
she thinks she was dying from it, now that's not a bad one to be, but as a norm, a single widowed elderly person is not a good place to go. Because they're not looking to live long, they're looking to leave. That's one of the reasons you don't do guys. Guys, a single guy, you got 1 out of 14 closing average. You're not gonna close it. Now, a single woman, 40 years old to 65, single is a great market. Because you know why? They hate their husband. Now they'll buy anything they want because he told them they couldn't. I'm gonna buy this because he'd have told me I couldn't. He doesn't tell me what to do anymore. It's hilarious how you'll find them in that age group. And that's where they're at. They don't have to be gay. You know, you gotta see, she'll hate her husband because of all the restrictions and stuff, you know, overprotective and, you know, and that's where you'll find in there. That's not a bad lead. I never had a problem doing those leads. Because normally you don't want to do single leads. And that. Okay, so did that answer your question? Mini vac. Okay, transition into the mini vac. You've got 35 claws. Right? You know the rainbow demo?
I mean, I watched it, yes.
Okay. Our mini vac is the last thing we do.
Okay.
Because in my
Nice
opinion,
little T-tool, the small little.
that's where you clog it up.
Gotcha.
You plug it up.
I know exactly.
See, ours is at the end of the demo.
Gotcha.
Because the transition on the front end of the demo, I'm gonna show you why your house is filthy, and no, it's not. And I'm gonna show you why your vacuum cleaner don't work. I got a brand new Dyson, it works. That's conflict. Makes it a lot easier if you've got 35 claws. Okay, you got a question why you got all this filth in your house? You had that question. You wanted to know. And you vacuum 3 times a week. Now I'm gonna show you why your vacuum cleaner is obsolete by design, and it doesn't matter what you do with it, it's never gonna get it out. So that's your transition into a mini vac. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is, when you go out and buy a new vacuum cleaner, what do they tell you to go get? One with the biggest motor and a lot of suction. Okay, now take the airflow bar off, pull up your sleeve. Okay, right here we've got suction, and put it on your arm. Okay, then have them feel it. Feel that? That's the movement of air. Because see, if air moves, dirt can move. So here we've got suction, we've got the movement of air, and see, it'll pull a cloth in. Okay? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it into a normal vacuum cleaner. So I take the upholstery tool off. What we're going to do is we're going to make that kind of looks like a little bag, doesn't it? Now you put it back on. And you've got the upholstery tool off. Okay, now the hardest part is to figure out where you're going to find enough dirt to clog it. Does that make sense? Because unfortunately, it's not on upholstery anymore. Because it's leather and it's, you know, whatever. You just can't get it off upholstery. So what you may have to do is you may have to go to the carpet. You may have to go to your claws and pull the hair off the top of them and find that powdery dust. Because if you've got one that's got a bunch of powdery dust, it's enough to clog it up that quick. Okay, now what you've done is you've heard it plug it up. And once again, I still got suction. Okay, now I take and loop my cloth over the top. Now if I did the rest of the furniture in the house, or the rest of the cleaning, would I do any cleaning? It won't pull that cloth in, it's not gonna pick up dirt. See, air has to move dirt. How much air is moving? Is that amazing?
Yeah. Not hardly any.
Okay, now, let's take a look and see what happened. As you can see, the bag's not full.
Yeah.
The pores are clogged. Basically, it takes a half a teaspoon of dirt to shut this one down with that cloth on it. Okay, now how big's the filter on your Dyson? About that big around?
Yeah,
About that big.
yeah, not large.
So how much of this do you think it would take to shut it down? Have you ever cleaned that filter?
No.
Can you clean that filter?
Never.
No, you can't. Did you know on the expensive Dysons, there's a filter you can't change, you can't get off? On the $700, $800, $900 Dyson, there is a filter you can never replace. Well, no, it's good.
That means you have to buy another Dyson.
No, it's supposed to take for annual service
Service.
and stuff, which is another deal.
So what you got is, how long would it take your Dyson to flood up? See, and that's exactly what happens. And that's the problem. And it doesn't matter if you buy a $49 Hoover. Doesn't matter if you have a $700 Dyson. Or it doesn't matter if you go buy a $3,500 Kirby. They all have dry filters. So any vacuum cleaner that has a dry filter is going to do the exact same thing. They have to. They're designed to do that. Just like the air conditioner on your house. If you don't change that every 90 days, what happens? What happens? No, it doesn't. It'd be okay, but your electric bill would go up. How about if you change it every 6 months? How about if you don't change it every 9 months? Let's go a complete year. Let's just make this easy. You never change that air filter for a year. What's going to happen? You're buying a new air conditioner. So why do you think your vacuum cleaner will work? Never change the air filter on your car. See, you have got to give the housewife some things that they can relate to. There's two things in the world that they know if they clog up, shit don't work. The air conditioner and the air filter on their car. Now, try to talk about anything else clogging up. You're going to confuse them. That's why you've got to come back and you've got to relate to that, and you've got to relate to the car. Now, if you've never changed the air filter on your car, what's going to happen? It's not going to run. Just like your Dyson that you've never changed the filter. So what's happened to it? This is what you've got. You've got 2 years of accumulation, and for 2 years you vacuum 3 times a week and just pounded it in the carpet. That's all that's happened. So if there was 2 things you could change on your vacuum cleaner, what would they be? Quit polluting and start cleaning, right? That's why we made a rainbow. Because it doesn't pollute and it'll always clean. Make sense? Okay, now what's the transitions on it? The transition on it is your 35 claws. You've got to have your 35 claws. Okay, then your transition is, when you go out and buy a vacuum cleaner, what do they always tell you? You buy the one with the biggest motor and the one that has the most suction. Well, let's find out if suction really does clean. You hit it on your arm. Okay, here, feel that. That right there is the movement of air. See, the air doesn't move, dirt can't move. See how it pulls the cloth in? Do not let them feel it after you put a bag on it. Do not pull a cloth in after you put a bag on it. Because how much movement of air do you think you lose as soon as you put that little cloth on there? 40 to 50%. And if you've got anybody that's paying attention, they'll notice it. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to have to try to get out of that. Because it's not a selling tool. Did I lose you?
A little.
See, if you take and make your little bag, so it's on there, so you've got the restriction of from having to pull air, and you have them feel it, they'll notice the difference. See, when you take it at first, when there's nothing on it, and you have them do it, women will think it's going to pull their fingernails off.
Gotcha.
But see, it's toned down enough, it's no big deal when you put your fingers in there. And a woman would notice it because it's like, well, I'm not putting my fingers, take my nails off. No, well, put your fingers in there. And they notice the difference, they'll say something. And you don't want to have to try to explain that in the middle,
Okay.
because there's nothing gained from it. It's too complicated. You know, the simplest thing in the world is, it's like, if you went 12 months with that, what's going to happen? Air conditioner's going to quit. It's going to burn it up. You're going to have to buy it. Okay, don't change the air filter on your car. What's going to happen? It'll literally quit running. It won't run anymore, or it's going to run real rough. So what do you think happened to your Dyson that you haven't changed in 12 months? It's the same thing. It's no different. But there's a filter you can't change. I used to use the joke with a Kirby. Want me to get your Kirby cleaner? Go get me a hose about this big around. It's about 40 feet long, and we're going to throw it out the window. It's the only way to work. There's nothing to clog up. Your neighbors would probably shoot you because you're pumping all that stuff all over the neighborhood. But that's the only way a Kirby would ever clean it.
So true.
You'll get a kick out of this. You know how you kill a Kirby demo? I'll tell you how to kill it right up front. I love to walk in, they say, man, I used to sell Kirby's. We're going to have a blast. Okay, here's what I want you to do for me. I got to go out to the car and get my rainbow. Will you pull your Kirby out and clean the air real quick for me? Right? That damn thing won't clean the air. Really? Well, I better get my rainbow real quick. Then another thing, Kate, now I told you I'm going to clean your grout, right? I'm going to put extra water down. So you need to get your Kirby out and clean up the water for me. See, now what you've done is you've put a major separation between the two machines right there. And it's easier to do a demo up against a Kirby. That way.
Anyone that they think they're sharp.
Yeah, any one of the big ones. But see, here's something you also got to realize. If you're going up against a new Kirby, a new Dyson, any of them, when you do a vac kill, you do not kill this one.
Right.
You kill the one before it. Don't kill the new one, because they'll stand there and go toe to toe with you and fight you. Does that make sense? But see how when I say, okay, now, Brad, what kind of vacuum cleaner did you have before you got the nice Dyson for your wife? Oh, okay. When you turned it on, did it smell?
It did.
It did? How bad? Bad enough you got rid of it?
Yeah.
Did you get rid of it because it stunk or because it didn't clean?
Just got a little bit of both.
So it wasn't clean and it really stunk.
I got old, yeah.
Yeah. See what I'm doing? See, they'll trash the old one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my backfill. I'm going to start going into my backfill. Let me ask you a question. Did the Electrolux smell when it was new?
No, actually, it works really well.
It smelled great, huh? It smelled pretty. Okay. So your Dyson, does it stink now?
I haven't noticed it.
No, it doesn't. Not yet. I turned it on. It didn't. But what do you think it's going to smell like in 6 months?
I'm sure it's not.
Just like your, it has to. They have to. They all do that. It doesn't matter. See, now they'll start trashing their new Dyson. Where before, you'd have had a fist fight. So kill the old one first, and then you can go back to these, and you don't have as big a problem with killing them how they smell. And that. Okay, now the key to transitions, for transitions to work, what time is it? 1:01. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this real quick. I'm gonna give you the theory on a transition, but I'm not gonna teach you. Does that make sense? Okay, you're gonna do a speech. When you do a speech, there's an opening, there's a body, and there's a close. Right?
Yes.
Okay, now
That's
eat,
correct.
huh?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, so what you do is are you doing a speech when you're doing the vacuum? Yes. There has to be an opening. There's got to be a body, and then you got to shut them down. So let me ask you a question. Now that you know a little bit more about your vacuum cleaner, what do you think about it? You really want her turning it on again? You really want her blowing that in your kid's face?
Definitely not.
So if I went out and bought a $40 Hoover, a $90 or a $700 Dyson, they're all the same, or a $3,000 Kirby, was it going to give you any different results? No.
Definitely not.
So what do you want me to do with this stinking thing?
Door.
See, there's your close. You gotta close every one of these meetings. Every part of every one of these demos, you gotta have a close. Does that make sense? See, now my transition into my next one happens to be my opening. Okay, now my opening from a vac kill would be, from what we've learned, carpet's filthy. Right? Okay, now if I was to show you someplace in your house that's 10 times worse than your carpet, this pause is important. Would you want to know where it's at?
Yeah.
Now, how about if I told you you don't even clean it? Would you want me to clean it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, here, you hang on to this box. You hang on to this hose, and let's go. See, that's your opening to your mattress demo. Okay, the close here is, you never want to use your vacuum cleaner again. You really want this turned on around. If you'd have known that, would you let your wife use it? Oh, heck no. Now that you know what it's doing, you want me to turn it on for 15 more seconds? No. So what do you want your wife using? Not that. So what's she going to clean with? I don't know. Now, the next thing I better do is I better kill the market. $49 Hoover, $700 Dyson, $3,000 Kirby. Guess what? They're all the same. You're going to get the same thing. So now what do you really want me to do with this now? You want her to turn it on again? You want to turn it on again? I better get rid of it, hadn't I? Okay, if I'll hold the door and you throw it out.
Okay.
How many people are actually pulling their doctor?
Somebody did it the other day. That's why I had my mouth shut. Because I have done it. Okay, but see, now what I've done is I've closed that. Then my transition in, from what we've learned, carpet's filthy, isn't it? Because see, we did the CDC in here. Right? So carpet's filthy, isn't it? Oh yeah. How about if I was to tell you there's a spot in your house that's 10 times worse than your carpet? And if you pause, what are they going to do? Start talking.
Yes.
Talking. Oh, really? Would you want me to tell you what it is? Yeah. How about if I told you you don't even clean it? No, I know. I clean everywhere in this house. No, you don't clean it. Would you want me to clean it? Well, yeah. I don't even answer that question. I get the power nozzle box, and why do I hand it to him? Because he's always going to follow me, right? Then I hand the hose to her, and if I figure that I'm going to get resistance going into their bedroom, but ultimately I want to be in the master bedroom. If I feel like I'm going to get resistance, I already know which kid has the worst allergies. Then I'll say, come on, little Liz, take me to your room. Let's go clean in. Does that make sense? And I know one thing. She's going to get me into mom's. Can you imagine how bad mom and dad are? Oh, should we go to mom and dad? Come on, let's go. You know, mom and dad, oh, no, you don't. Come on, let's do it. I'm going to ignore them, and I'm going to go get in that master bedroom. Because that's the final touch. You've got to get it. That's a brand new mattress. You're not going to find anything. Well, let's go sit.
Dude, mine was a brand new mattress.
See, and the other thing that you've also got to realize is, another question you've got to ask people, how often are you changing the mattress pad? People don't.
If you have.
Yeah, if they have one. Where are you going?
I'm too far. Too far away. Only in the sunshine.
I'll take it. I got to go down to the police. I'll take it.
Sorry, thank you.
Hey, wait. What'd you learn?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. She's awesome.
She's got a doctorate degree in psychology. And she's putting her doctorate, she's about ready to get it. She's putting her doctorate degree up on the shelf. And she told me I'll make my millions in Rainbow. It's a true statement.
Wow.
Yeah, she's very well accomplished. Yeah, she's probably one of the smartest people I think I've met. It's hilarious to sit down and talk to her. She's from Africa. She's cute. What'd you get out of the meeting?
Turn it off.
The transition, understanding what you got to do and why you got to do it and pay attention to them. That help you? Yeah. Good. Good. Definitely.